Good day, it's Dr. Richard Mclean. This is a statement for the Prime Minister and Cabinet in terms of compensation. I wish to state that I render the movement to publicly, via proxy, to desecrate me and shame, maim and blame me and cover up all the injustices and actually aid and abet my death. I will present this now for examination. I'm reading off the thing here so you can't see me. For you in the public, and I will prove it with evidence in a public way that the public can testify, which will hopefully move the government also to witness this evidence on the website killing.info, and then pursue a course of action which is just and equitable so we can all move on. 2. I utterly reject and object to this vile, conscious, malicious, discriminatory victimisation and vilification and the conspiracy to pervert the course of justice, which is a violation under federal law, and victimisation is a violation of the federal law, and slander and libel are a desecration under the federal law, and that many agencies, institutions, systemic organisations and government agencies and people paid by the government to toe the party line have existed as one stick out of many, many, many sticks in the faggot of oppression that has desecrated me and rendered me a voiceless, neutral refugee who has no voice, no rights, and has been framed and additionally has some health issues, notably since my suicide. That was covered up. My difficulty in collecting my thoughts and words, and this is abhorrent. Cover up, and the fact that I haven't got a neurologist or a psychologist or a psychiatrist a whole year after I was saved from certain death, reluctantly revived, and kicked out into the community against hospital principles, which were to care for me in the community, as a person who had a break from his job and had no money, and that many institutions, in particular Africa and HCF, conspired to render me penniless, and that resulted in my hospitalisation. 3. I have been crucified publicly, personally and professionally, by libel and slander, and that exploited an already existing prejudices and stigma that already exist in society, and that leans into exploiting me via identifying, vilifying, labelling me, all that kind of stuff. So this is the prejudice and stigma that I've been dealt. And additionally, I didn't know until after I'd survived suicide and died valiantly with courage, forgiving everyone, might I add, before I left. I was framed by Mr. Ball, a lawyer, to a GP I had a valid complaint with, as an extortionist. He framed me as an extortionist, as I found out in Freedom of Information, to the Australian Medical Review Board. Why he did that was because I had an innocuous recording of a consultation with a GP, which I only did out of checking I wasn't going mad, for the gaslighting and not an acknowledgement of my issues, including being suicidal from the grief of a friend and isolation, and it was a just complaint about a GP, and I actually defended the GP. I defended him to try and not affect his job and all that kind of stuff, and I didn't want to go to APRA, and I wanted best things for that GP. All I was simply after was an acknowledgement of what had happened, because I'm an ethical person and I believe in correcting things when they're wrong. So anyway, 4, what I've lost through this, through the agencies of government agencies, that is, and systemic institutions, organisations, blah, 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 I've lost every cent. I've no money. I've lost my dignity. I've been framed. I've lost my prosperity. I've lost my business. I've lost my digital IP. I've lost my logins. I've lost my digital identity and my copyrighted information. I've been denied healthcare. I barely have a GP. And in addition, in a whole year after I survived, I saw a psychiatrist twice, and the second time was to officially kick me off the service. This is more than a bad public mental health system. This is a methodology to elongate and amplify the time of my suffering in which I may kill myself, as someone who had already done it at least twice, and once successfully, had I not been found. I've lost all my human rights, framed by litigation, in not being able to communicate or ask the Victorian Human Rights and Equal Opportunity Commission for any help. I've been denied, especially with the Ombudsman, especially with my whistleblower statuses, especially with going to the police because I can't report anything, with IBAC, with AFSA, with AFCA, with APRA. I'm bankrupt. I needn't have gone bankrupt. That's ridiculous. I've lost my freedom. I'm under investigation, but now you're all under my investigation. I've been reduced or refused my ability to earn because all my data to do my PRODA registration for my NDIS job the data's all been destroyed. I can't do it, and apart from the fact I can't do it because I haven't got the data of my client records, which were actually part of my business and legally obliged to be kept, and I thought they were kept with this Micron 21 mob who intentionally desecrated my website and all the emails, in effect destroying evidence before a court. And then the business.gov.au and business.vic.gov.au, they covered it up, and the Office of the Small Business and Family Ombudsman covered it up, and the Telecommunication Industry Ombudsman covered it up, and I can't remember, the Ombudsman covered it up. So I've lost my ability to earn money. In addition to that, I'm marred in the head. I absolutely know that I'm marred in the head because I have trouble thinking and organising my thoughts, and I can't remember anything for the life of me. That is a heinous disability, an acquired brain injury that is the result of prolonged systemic oppression from many people and organisations who work for the government and are paid to toe the party line to reject me prosperity, silence my evidence, and actually intelligently design my downfall, and aid and abet my death. That's what it was. So my business affairs are done. They were decimated. The years-long sustained attack via proxy from government agencies included APRA, included Health Complaints Commissioner, included Mental Health Complaints Commissioner, included the police, included IBAC, included the Ombudsman, included I can't remember off the top of my head. The very methodology of this thing is to protect people in positions of power and privilege against one person, me, who is easily exploitable, frameable for his the way he has been bravely, I think bravely, made himself vulnerable to the world in his honesty. And I think that if I got some acknowledgement or power, one domino would fall over, and then the next and the next and the next. So somewhere along the line, a decision's been made to desecrate me, especially financially, and that is clearly evident in the information that I would ask you and insist that you acknowledge on the website killing.info. The movement is to protect people in positions of power and privilege and reputation, as opposed to me, who is easily scapegoated as a person who society can consciously or unconsciously pin their own neuroses and prejudices on and send me out into the wilderness to die. That's the scapegoat archetype. And kill me, really. and to be fair, like, I've already died. And that was covered up. So that's pretty shit. So, number 5, I can only assume now, having been post-death and further desecrated in so many ways and frustrated to hell and back with literally thousands of people and emails and organisations against one singular person, to embolden and enlarge the area where I might kill myself. This is done by proxy. From one person, it's not much to reject someone. For that one person to be rejected by 1,000 people is a desecration and a persecution that not any sentient should go through. Even if I was a criminal and a bad person or whatever, no one should have to go through that amount of conscious, malicious, sustained over years, intentional persecution and desecration. That is abhorrent, and I want that acknowledged by the government. It did this by stripping me of really basic survival needs. The first way they attacked me was money. The second way they attacked me was information. The third way, they framed me. It was never ending. Every time I'd go to the next step, I unwittingly unveiled a greater level to the disturbance and the conspiracy to pervert the course of justice. Again, it's illegal. Hang on, my screen went flat. Hang on. Well, oh, sorry, it's back again. Sorry, it's just gone off the screen. And I will prove all of that here with evidence, and with the evidence on the website below. Sorry, my thought processes are really horrible at the moment. Well, not at the moment, it's ever since the suicide attempt. I've done some research, and the toxicology of the brain affecting the hippocampus is that the toxins in the carbon dioxide actually reduce the amount of memory that occurs in suicide survivors. So I'm clearly evident that that's happening for me, although I haven't been able to find a psychologist or a psychiatrist in the whole year since then, and then been hospitalised again and further rejected. It's too much for one person to bear, but so there's that, and then I can't feel my feet. My feet are numb. Ever since that suicide, I can't feel them. It's like a kind of Novocaine with getting a toothache. You can feel them tugging, but you can't feel the... Hello, Crystal. How you going? Hello, my girl. Here's my Crystal. She's come to say hello. I just want a simple life with my family and my dog, with my few friends, or the ones I can hopefully win back, and my dog. I don't need much, and I think that if the government doesn't come forward and offer me a whistleblower protection in which I can have agency to go to police and report crime, and in which I can have access to litigation, in which I'm not systemically framed and blacklisted by so many organisations, that is the very least that I expect to happen. I also reserve the right to litigate against who I damn well please, because that's a human right. And if the law is broken, I'm allowed to challenge that law. And with this video and all the information presented on killing.info, I am pressuring the government, not because I wanted to. It's because I have no food, no doctor, no psychologist, no psychiatrist, no help, no family, no friends. I've been killed, reluctantly survived, then covered up. You can't make this stuff up. This is not my design of life. This is the design of external forces that are attacking via proxy. The office of the chief psychiatrist told me that you can't threaten to kill yourself every time you don't get what you want. That is an abhorrent way to treat someone. I have had many emails from so many organisations that continue to non-validate, gaslight, ostracise and reject me and devalue me as a person. I'm a person of worth, intelligence, even though I'm bloody forgetful now, and that I have sentience. I'm a good person. I worked for 25 years in a very public way. I think part of this is too that if I'm a PhD, then I think I'm really smart. I don't think I'm smart. I just think I'm really stubborn. I think that that PhD was to prove my worth as someone who had been officially labelled and fired from the Age and all that kind of stuff, and desecrated by the Herald Sun and all the agencies and powers that be, and no one intervened. No one's helped me. It has been an uphill battle my entire life into the present. And to be fair, when they took me into hospital for the first time, I actually consciously described in great detail why I'm not psychotic, why I'm hanging inside having a beer with my dog, and the systemic conspiracy that went from Health Complaints Commissioner to the doctor to APRA to NHP OPC to IBAC to the sexual abuse people to VOCAT to the Ombudsman to Jack Heath to a number of MPs and all that kind of stuff. Like, the MPs are too. Greg Hunt was one of the ones that it didn't acknowledge and silenced that evidence. And all those people silenced that evidence, which I recorded innocuously and was then framed for as an extortionist, and my reputation ruined, and the whole government and its agents pulled the party line. And it's abhorrent to treat a human rights award-winning person who has been so brave in his life and always helped others. Money's not my currency. It's knowledge. It's helping other people. It's creating meaning. What the government has created for me is a nightmare. Anyway, I'm going to sign off now. There'll be little bits of this evidence that are coming through, but that's just a basic statement introducing this, and I will be reporting more in a minute. It's hard for me to concentrate. I've got to write everything down. I'll be back to acknowledge further this movement to desecrate me, and one of two things: either the public support who will render me my own country and with my own democracy, rich Mclean land, so I can live and eat and have health care, or the government is going to make a conciliation with me and provide me with whistleblower status, freedom from oppression, the ability to litigate, to complain, to have a voice, to not be framed, shamed and marginalised. And I understand that this is a very, 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 very difficult for the government to be in, because you literally have to kill me. You can't admit that this systemic oppression that ended in my suicide or my death had I not been found. I mean, if I'd have died, I would have been known as a mental health advocate. That's what I would have been remembered as. And now I haven't died and been reluctantly revived. It's been further absolutely desecrating for me. And the government and its agents are responsible. And I have spoken to AGIS, and I have spoken to ASIO, and I have spoken to the Attorney General, and I have spoken to all the main players like Greg Hunt and a few others, and it's just unyielding and it's consistent, and every place I go, it is under a veneer or an agency of what is literally a government, local, federal and state conspiracy to desecrate and kill me, and that is what I'm opposing. I won't stand for it, and I wish for the government to come to a conciliation with me. If they don't, then this video will go public, and I'll ask my public supporters to help me. And right now it's the 12th of January. I'm a free man. In ways, but I mean, I'm not arrested and in jail, but I believe that if this comes out in a bad way, or I'm threatened, you will find something to pin me with and lock me up or lock me away for life. That's what will happen. So I ask you to please acknowledge this this website and these recordings as my evidence, as my methodology to communicate with you, for the purpose of a plea bargain deal, that I may be at least saved some amount of agency that has an ability to live and to earn and to give back, and create. And I ask that of the government today, and I'll decide a date when I get all this together and submit it, and if it's not met by that date, all this goes public anyway. Thanks, I'll be back soon.